For over 170 million years, they were the undisputed rulers of Earth, an empire of giants that dominated every single corner of the planet. And then, well, in what's really just a geological blink of an eye, they were gone. So today, we're going to dive into the epic story of the dinosaurs, their incredible reign, their mysterious disappearance, and what their story might just mean for us.
I mean, that's the ultimate mystery, right? The dinosaurs were absolute masters of this planet, a biological dynasty that lasted for an almost unimaginable length of time. So you have to ask, what could possibly happen to completely and totally erase them from existence? Let's just try to wrap our heads around this number for a second. 170 million years. That is the sheer scale of their rule. It's a length of time so vast it makes all of recorded human history look like a rounding error. They weren't just visitors here, they were the planet. And they were giants in every single sense of the word. We're talking about creatures so massive, they were literally taller than buildings, with jaws so powerful they could crush bone like it was nothing. But they weren't just big, they were terrifyingly fast. Some could hit speeds of 90 kilometers per hour. That's as fast as a cheetah, the fastest land animal alive today. They were, without a doubt, the most successful group of animals in Earth's entire history. So, let's go back. Let's imagine that world. A world without any humans. A world completely alien to our own, ruled by these magnificent beasts. You know, the name itself actually means terrible lizard, a term that was coined way back in 1841 by a scientist named Richard Owen. But this name really reflects an early, almost cartoonish understanding of them. The very first drawings, based on just the first few fossils, looked nothing like the dinosaurs we imagine today. It's a great reminder of how science is always refining our picture of the past. So, to really understand their end, we first have to understand their beginning. Let's travel back in time, millions and millions of years, to the very dawn of the dinosaurs. Their whole story unfolds across the Mesozoic era, which is split into these three distinct periods you see here: the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. When the first dinosaurs showed up, around 230 million years ago, the world was one giant supercontinent called Pangaea. The climate was hot and dry, and the dinosaurs themselves, they were actually pretty small. So how did they go from these small creatures to planetary rulers? Well, it turns out they got a huge lucky break. Around 201 million years ago, massive volcanic eruptions caused some rapid climate change, and it wiped out most of their competition. This created a massive power vacuum. But it wasn't just luck. Dinosaurs had some key advantages. Their upright posture made them way more mobile than other sprawling reptiles, and their incredibly efficient breathing systems let them thrive. They were just perfectly positioned to take over the world. With all their competition gone, the dinosaurs entered their golden age. This was the beginning of a true era of giants.
And while the Jurassic Period is the famous one, it was really the Cretaceous Period when dinosaur diversity just exploded. You had absolute behemoths like Argentinosaurus weighing up to 77 tons. You had lightning-fast ostrich-like dinosaurs, colossal flying reptiles with wingspans as wide as a small plane, and of course, the king himself, Tyrannosaurus rex, the apex predator with the most powerful jaws of any land animal ever.
Okay, this is one of those facts that just brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of their time on Earth. The famous Stegosaurus from the Jurassic Period lived and died out about 80 million years before the T-Rex even evolved. We, as modern humans, are chronologically closer to the T-Rex than the T-Rex was to the Stegosaurus. It's a totally mind-bending thought, right? For millions and millions of years, they were on top of the world. The climate favored them, new species were constantly evolving, and they had no rivals at all. Everything was going perfectly until it wasn't. 66 million years ago, a rock between 10 and 15 kilometers wide came hurtling through space. It was moving at 30 kilometers per second. That's over 150 times faster than a modern jet, and it slammed right into what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The energy released in that single moment was equivalent to 1 billion of the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It was an impact on a scale that is just unimaginable. And that was just the beginning. The initial blast incinerating everything for thousands of kilometers and triggered these enormous mega tsunamis. But the long-term effects were even deadlier. All this dust and debris was blasted into the atmosphere, blocking out the sun for over a year and plunging the planet into a freezing nuclear winter. Without sunlight, plants couldn't photosynthesize, so they died. Then the herbivores starved, and then the carnivores starved. It was a complete and total collapse of the global food chain, wiping out 75% of all species on Earth.
The rulers of the planet were gone. But this catastrophic end for one dynasty, well, it was actually a beginning for another. You see, destruction created opportunity.
With the dinosaurs gone, the small, burrowing mammals that had been living in their shadows for millions of years could finally emerge. This one event cleared the stage for the age of mammals, leading to the evolution of horses, whales, bats, and eventually primates, our own distant ancestors. In a very real way, we are here because the dinosaurs are not.
But not all of the dinosaurs were wiped out. One group actually survived, the flying dinosaurs. And over millions of years, they evolved into the birds we see today. So yes, it's true. The closest living relative of the mighty T-Rex is the humble chicken.
So how do we know all this? Well, the evidence is literally written in the rock. Scientists found this thin, worldwide layer of a rare element called iridium, which is super common in asteroids, but very rare on Earth. And this layer dates precisely to 66 million years ago. And then, deep beneath Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, we found the impact scar, a massive 180-kilometer-wide crater that perfectly matches the timeline. So the evidence is crystal clear. A cosmic accident completely rewrote the story of life on Earth. And understanding that cataclysm, understanding how a dominant species can just vanish, well, it brings the story of deep time right to our doorstep. It forces us to look at our own time on this planet in a whole new light. Let this comparison just sink in for a moment. The dinosaurs dominated this planet for about 174 million years. Modern humans? We've been around for a mere 300,000. They ruled for nearly 600 times longer than we have even existed. Our entire civilization is just a fleeting moment compared to their incredible empire.
And what have we done with that moment? The asteroid caused the 5th mass extinction event in Earth's history, and scientists now believe the 6th is already underway. It's called the Holocene extinction, and this time there is no asteroid. It's being caused by us.
Which leaves us with a final and pretty profound question. The dinosaurs set an incredible record for survival, a reign of 174 million years. Their dynasty was ended by a random catastrophe from space. Ours is being threatened by our own actions. Can humanity learn from the past and outlast the dinosaurs? The answer to that? Well, it's still being written.